isimli. Evet, KVKK gereği şu anda kayıt altındayız ve izninizle bu görüşmemizi, bu webinarımızı kayıt altında gerçekleştiriyoruz. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Türkiye'nin farklı yerlerinden bugün hep bir aradayız yine. Mesleğe gönül vermiş, koçluğa gönül vermiş ve başka koçlara da aslında bugün destek vermeye gönül vermiş süpervizyon hakkında konuşmak için aramızda bulunan tüm koçlara kucak dolusu sevgiler, tüm şehirlerimize sevgilerimizi gönderiyoruz. Ben recording başlarken yine arkada sevgili Beyza Erdem Balcı'ya ve tercümemizi yapacak sevgili Alev Tyson Balcı'ya çok teşekkürlerimi iletiyorum. Bal gibi olsun. Bugün öğreneceklerimiz ağzımızda çok güzel bir tat bıraksın. Ve sevgili Sibel Erol da bizimle. Ben onun kendisini sizle tanıştırması için hemen sözü ona veriyorum.
Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. Teşekkür ederim Esra. Ben ICF Üye İlişkileri ve Eğitim Kurulu üyesinde bulunuyorum. Bu akşam da ilk defa böyle bir geniş katılımlı bir ortamda Esra'ya destek olmak üzere buradayım. Çok mesajlardan görüyorum. Ankara'dan, hani Antalya'dan, farklı şehirlerden katılanlar var. Herkes hoş geldi. Güzel bir akşam geçirmenizi diliyorum. Sevgili Jasna, Jasna Knez bizimle bu akşam. Ve kendini tanıtmak zormuş Esra. Şimdilik bu kadar.
Ben Sibel'le aynı kurulda hizmet ediyorum ve inanılmaz güvenilir bir takım arkadaşı, çok profesyonel bir takım arkadaşı, kaya gibi sağlam o da. Varlığına bin şükür. Ben tanıtsaydım bunları paylaşırdım gerçekten seninle ilgili. Aynı zamanda bir anne, bir koç ve zamanını, yüreğini ICF Türkiye için ayırmaya adanmış bir kişi. Ben bir şey sormak istiyorum başlarken üyelerimizin yararına bir bilgi. Bugünkü konuşmamızı, webinarımızı izleyen ICF Türkiye üyelerimiz buradaki bir krediyi, CCU kredisini nasıl alabilirler? Bunu birazcık anlatabilirsin. Hangi şartlarda almaları mümkün ve nasıl edinebilirler?
Evet, anlatayım. Etkinlik duyurusunda da belirtmiştik. Bugünkü oturumumuz bir CCU, kaynak geliştirme kategorisinde kredi alabiliyoruz sürekli koç eğitimi kapsamında. Bunu alabilmemiz için ICF Global ve ICF Türkiye'ye üye olurken tanımladığınız e-mail adresi üzerinden bağlanıyor olmanız önemli. Aktif ICF Türkiye üyesi olmanız önemli. Ve minimum 50 dakika, yaklaşık 1 saatlik bir oturum olarak planlıyoruz. Ama minimum 50 dakika bu oturumda bulunuyor olmanız önemli ki adil bir kredi verme, sertifika verme durumunu yaşayabilelim. Bu iki konu çok kritik. Bunu baştan belirtmek isteriz.
Harikasın. Çok teşekkür ederim bu güzel bilgi için. Ve
rica ederim.
Ben şimdi konumuzu İngilizce içeriye alayım. Jasna, we are so excited to have you and so thrilled to have you. I'm so excited to learn from you. And I think we will be reached by you. We will be blessed by you. Okay, I was just introducing you and welcoming you. Welcome, Jasna.
Thank you.
We are treasuring you, like we are treasuring what you're gonna tell us. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Also, like thank you for investing Turkish coaching community here. It's so precious to us, and you took the initiative, even you are so busy, and you choose to be here tonight. you had wonderful, wonderful things we shared with our members about your biography. And I just want to ask you, if your best friend was here, how they would describe you, how would what they would tell us about you.
What an interesting question. You know, the first thing that came on my mind is unconditional love.
Oh,
Yeah, this is, you know, it brought tears on my eyes, but this is what my friend always says to me.
wow, I want to be your friend.
Welcome. We are all somehow connected.
Everybody would love to have unconditional love, and what a blessing to have a friend like that. That's awesome. And I just want to give the floor to you, and so excited to hear. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I learned merhaba. This is the word that I know. I know also Bismillah. So why I use this word? Because I am far away in Slovenia in mountains, and unfortunately today internet connection here is very bad. So in case if I get switched off, I will come back, and colleagues from ICF chapter will help me to fill the space. And just to say sorry in advance if this might happen, because I hope that it won't, that the God will be with us. So what I wanted to share with you is, I hope that you see my presentation, just not with your head. Okay, great. And this is what I will talk about, supervision for coaches. I also write mentors, because, you know, my story, why supervision and why I believe in supervision and why I finally also became a supervisor, is because I was firstly trained by MCC, and therefore accreditation supervision is obligatory. So this is how I was taught into the coaching world in 2010. This is when my initial training started. And supervision really helped me to grow myself and to develop myself, and as well to master my skills and capacity. And I believe that even though that it's not so famous term, at least not in my country, it's becoming much more and more important. So I hope that I could give you some hints what is supervision and why it is good to be supervised in coaching. So if we go to the official, let's say, definition of supervision, is the interaction that occurs when a mentor or coach brings their coaching or mentoring work experience to a supervisor in order to be supported and to engage in reflective dialogue and collaborative learning for the development and benefit of the mentor or coach, their clients, and their organization. And supervision is the term that is much more used in MCC Global. And I'm so proud and happy that it's also becoming known and important also within the ICF coaching community. I also serve as ICF Vice President here in Slovenia. And for me, it's, of course, I feel such a warm, because I think it's a great support. And for me, supervision is journey of self-discovery. It gives you the power to really master the present and just to be like who you are, and to bring yourself into the coaching. Because when we are who we are and when we are present, magic things happen. And this is how I see it, and I believe in that system. And of course, we develop through supervision our ability to learn from each coaching situation, each coaching client, each coaching colleague, each coaching organization. And for me, what is important, and this is also the difference within the mentoring and supervision, is that it goes inside of you as a coach, what is happening in your inner theater, let's say like that, and also what is happening outside. So to have this systemic perspective, helicopter view on our profession, on our clients, on our relationship that we build with clients and colleagues and the professional community, and as well with ourselves as a coach. And of course, it gives us also the reflection of who we are with our clients. And supervision, you know, in supervision, we share our successes, of course, but we also share our failures. Because I would love to say that we are taught, we know competencies, and now we can do magic in coaching. But the reality is not like that, right? Because sometimes we face some things, some situations, some emotions, parallel processes, life itself. And it is good to admit to ourselves where we are in that particular moment, because it's not good or bad. It's just, it is like that. And it's a learning process for us to grow and to develop, to become more, I would say, in terms of coaching, more mature, and to develop our capacity, not only competency. And here I see the difference with the mentoring, because I also believe that we need to have mentor coaches that are basically more focusing on our competencies, on the way how we do, let's say, technical stuff, you know, how we use the ingredients of a coaching. And in supervision, how we develop the capacity of these ingredients and how we develop ourselves to use the capacity of these ingredients with our clients, if this makes any sense for you. And what are the functions of supervision? There are 3 functions. Of course, we are developing our competencies as well capacity of the coach. We are providing supportive space for the coach to process the experiences that coach is having while working with clients. And of course, it's also encouraging professional practice related to quality, to standards, and to ethics. And within that goes also our professional and personal development. For me, supervision, there are many ways how we supervise. So we can have individual supervision. We can have group supervision. We also use term intravision, meaning that we gather together as we coaches in a smaller group and we discuss about some, let's say, our concerns, or also maybe our proud moments, champagne moments. My friend Sami like to use champagne moment. So the proud moments. Why? To learn from the experience and to learn how to reflect on the way how we see our practice, how we see what we do, and also to tackle the patterns in our behavior as a coach, to tackle the patterns or repetition of some models in coaching or some questions. For example, sometimes when I supervise or when I mentor in coaching school, when I mentor, what I observe sometimes, and I give the feedback. May I share my observation? I always ask, you know, with every single client, you are repeating this and this and this question. So it's an information, it's data. Can we grow beyond that? So this is some interesting, let's say, insight from the supervision. What are the dilemmas that we can bring to supervision if we are stuck with the client and we don't know what to do next? Or sometimes we just get the client and we feel that something is just not right, or that we feel that we are not progressing. or maybe even that we are trying too hard, so that we are doing the work, if you understand, trying too hard, or maybe we notice that coaching is not working for the client, or maybe some questions are not working for the client, or maybe there is a pattern that is happening also in the client. What steps could we take to further development of our professional as well personal development as a coach? Or if we observe that we are getting similar clients with similar issues, with similar patterns, or similar language patterns or emotional patterns. So it's something, that is like a repetition. It's good to check what is in the system. How can we take care for ourselves as a coaches? And in this particular time that we are now, this is crucially, it's so important. What is your well-being as a coach? How do you take care for yourself? Do you bring issues, the problems, the emotions from your clients also to your home? Do you think about your clients? Are they popping up your mind, your emotion, your thoughts? So do we know how to separate? And in this, let's say, COVID era and uncertainty and so many problems in the world, we are facing with ambiguity and with uncertainty. And we are questioning, can we control something? Do we belong to? And has effect also on us and our own well-being. For me, and I want to share this. It's not like I am trying to scare you, but it's a sign. What I noticed in Slovenia, we have so many coaches that are facing some deep health issues because of lack of self-care. How this is connected with the profession, of course, it is somehow connected as well. So sometimes also what we can bring, if we notice, something happened with the client and then it draw your energy, or maybe you became experiencing some emotions, or you were bored, or things like that. So it's again something worth to consider, to reinvestigate through different lenses. If you wonder what kind of coach you are, what is your avatar as a client, the best client that you really add the best value. What are the clients that you don't give good value or best value? Because, in coaching, there is something much more important than relationship. It's this net, the connection that we build. And as people, as human beings, we have our own vibration, our own energy. We bring something into the system. And in life itself, we don't always click with everybody. And this has nothing to do with us or with that person. It has to do something that it is not right. Like elephant cannot be with the lion, for example, because it's not right, Maybe it's not good example, but I hope that you get what I'm trying to say. And sometimes what happens to coaches, that then is a guilt feeling, or maybe a fear of, am I good enough? So it is good to explore who is your really avatar. I say it's a metaphor for the ideal client. What kind of person this is? Why? Because we all have a need to belong and add value. So it's good that we niche also ourselves, that for yourself, this is who I am, this is how I work. These are the people that I can support best of my ability. sharing my successes, of course, I already said that, but also sharing failures, doubts, when you know that it's not right and you are embarrassed to say it. We all want to have successful sessions. Yay, good, right. But this is not life, Sometimes they are not. And we need to admit to ourselves. Sometimes it has to do with our growth. And sometimes with something that is happening in the system or in the client. But if we don't investigate it, we don't know. And maybe we put a judgment on it, an assumption, and can lead us into illusion of something that maybe is not correct or right. Also, with our business, we work in all around the globe. So how do we approach to different cultures or to different norms or to different definitions of ethics in coaching? And what are our principles of working? What are our boundaries? With whom can we work and with whom we cannot work? And of course, basic like conflict of interest or contracting, we like or dislike something, or maybe sometimes we even like a client even too much, like a person, like a person, you want to have this person in your life because you really feel connected. Or sometimes you like. And, also this is life. We are not robots. We are just human beings. And we need to be aware of things that is happening with us. The most important thing. And this is also how then we can use ourselves as the tool in the benefit of a client. The last one. I'm also reading, of course, to get idea what to tell you. My supervisor is coming to supervision with therapy clients. Can I handle that? So I don't know how is it in Turkey, but here in Slovenia, for example, it happens many times that the coach has a client that is also visiting a therapy. And sometimes there is a close conflict of how and what we are addressing. And in Slovenia, for example, what I noticed, coaches feel too soon that they have the depth of exploring and they enter into the psychotherapy area. So it is good to investigate, just to be sure. Maybe you are the best therapist on the world, even without diploma. But it is good to explore and to check the interventions for security and for integrity and for safety of another human being, because we are dealing with human beings and every single hour intervention and question leaves a mark in another human being, with intention or without, I really love to show this. This is the tool from David Clattenburg. He is my mentor and as well my supervisor. I was waiting for him for 5 years to come to his supervision. In the beginning, he was too expensive for me. And when I was able to afford it, I couldn't get the spot. But I really gained a lot. And I am under regular supervision from 2011. This is also why my professional development went like that, because many coaches in Slovenia admire me, but I don't see that I did something special. I just follow the steps how I was taught to do it. So in supervision, we normally test maturity of a coach. And when we talking about maturity of a coach, we are not talking about seniority in terms of how many years of experience you have, but we are talking about the mindset. So you can have very young coach, but is very mature. And you can have very old coach, but is very, very not mature, I would say. And it depends also about the style that you develop as a coach. And also, is this style all the time the same or is emerging? And what are the four maturity levels? In the first level, our style is more controlling. So we are much more model-based. We are using the coaching models that we learn, and we are adopting our technique and our model to every single situation. And in the beginning of our coaching career, we were all in the control phase. Why? Because we needed to. But then with the professional and personal development, we can progress into process-based approach. And style is that we are much more able to contain. So how to give enough control to the client, but still stay in the purposeful conversation with the client. So what is the best way to apply it in the process? And when we are containing, we are letting off control of the process, of the model, of the question, of the technique, and we are much more containing in what is happening and giving it to the client. And of course, with the development, professional and personal, you see, I'm all the time repeating personal development. I will tackle this later. We are progressing to facilitating style that is much more philosophy-based. And this is when we just facilitate the process in terms of what can we do to help the client to do the things for themselves. In that sense, we are using interventions, tools, or models with the question, is this in the benefit of a client? So it's not, this is the question that I'm always using. I know this is the powerful question, but we are facilitating from what is happening, and putting this into the direction or your coaching model, your own personal coaching model. And then the final maturity of a coach by David Clattenburg is systemic eclectic. And this is the coaching approach. So we are not only being here, but also all around. And also the style of coaching is enabling. I would say also emerging from the present moment here and now, but not focusing and staying with, but also connected the dots with everything that is around. And of course, what are the critical questions here are we both with the client, both relaxed enough that the issues and the solution will emerge in whatever sense, in whatever shape, in whatever energy, and everything is okay. So there is no, prescribed something. It's just really being in the moment, in the field, with the field. I hope this makes any sense. Okay. So if when we talk about supervision, there are, of course, aspects of supervision. What are the aspects means what are we addressing in the supervision? So the first aspect is formative or qualitative, it means providing external perspective to ensuring the quality of our practice. So in that sense, why we could use the supervision is to learn some new approaches and concepts and gaining insight into our practice with the intention to develop broader quality of our practice. The second aspect that is also very crucial in supervision is normative or much more developmental. And it's enabling us learning and growing of our supervisors as well of our clients. So it's here we are tackling also ethical issues, and we are addressing or supporting clients to ensure that they as a coach and their clients feel safe enough so that there is this confidentiality and safety and all ethical, I would say, shades of ethics that may emerge in coaching sessions. The third aspect is restorative, or we say it's psycho-emotional, and it's about building our self-confidence as a coach and also providing our social and psychosocial support, taking care for our own well-being. Like a question, and how are you as Jasna in that situation with your client? And how are you as Jasna taking care for yourself? And then you say, I remember when I first got this question, I said, oh, I should take care for myself as a coach as well. It was like, there is Jasna and there is Coach Jasna, and this is not connected. So this was really, for me, this was a very important question. And also, when we face some struggles in life, we have life, of course, and we have problems. Our persona as a coach looks very fantastic. We have these credentials and everything. People see us that we have happy life without problems. You are a coach. You should have a perfect life. Yeah, probably you are familiar with this kind of assumptions that clients made about us coaches. But we also have problems in our life. We also have families. We also have illness. We also have, we lose people. We have young children, then they go to teenager age, and each era in our life brings some, let's say, challenges. And sometimes we are not in the mood that we say, oh, I am in a best position for myself. What do we do then? Are we able then to coach others, to support others, if maybe we are not able to support ourselves? And maybe this is somehow connected, I don't know. So supervision gives you also this very crucial aspect to look on your well-being and being aware that resilience is very important for us. Being centered is very important for us. And that's why personal self-development is so important for people who call themselves coach. Not only professional, personal. What do you know about yourself, about your emotions, about your traumatic experiences, how they emerge in your life, in current life, even though that maybe everything looks perfect? How do you hold yourself accountable towards yourself? And the last aspect is systemic. So it's about how do we deal with complexity to really develop the drone view. I like to use the drone, you know what is drone like, or helicopter view, however you would say. But the drone, drone is all around, but you never see it. But when you look on the Google and you write your address, you see, oh, look, this is my house. Oh, look, this is my car. So drones see everything from the above. It's, of course, the aspect of helping us discover and work with the complexities of assignments. And after COVID, the complexity that we are dealing as coaches now is huge. So we are not supporting only our clients, but the families behind our clients as well. And for sure, now I need to be much more faster. I was just realizing what is the time. How to choose a supervisor. It's very simple. Look, they need to have experience as a coach. They need to have experience being supervised, and they need to be currently supervised as well. So this is the mindset. And they need to have a training in supervision, and they need to be qualified as a supervisor. If they don't have this, they are lacking the skill, and they cannot support you in all the aspects. So this is, let's say, what is important. Of course, what is also important is that they are constantly developing themselves, and they can explain how they work and what is their approach, to see if there is a fit, and, not to mention the code of ethics. So what I really wanted to share with you today is what are the key elements in the supervision. I wanted to show you or share with you one model that is the most well-known model and widely used as a supervision model, but gives you the understanding of how rich the supervision really is. The 7I model, it was developed by Peter Hawkins. I'm sure that you know who Peter Hawkins is. If you don't know, just Google it. You will see he has many books on supervision and also on team coaching. And it's really a great framework because it enables you moving around the eyes or around the levels that we are observing as a supervisor, in terms to help our supervisees or clients to open the conversation relatively quickly, and really it enables you to go deeper and gain richer insights in, or bring the awareness of dynamics that are happening in our coaching practice. So what are we addressing in 7I model? The first I is the client. So what we are focusing as a supervisor is on the coachee situation. So it's all about the client of this coach that is on the supervision, and how they present themselves, or maybe what is happening outside the coaching sessions in general life. So what can a coach describe us about the client? So what do you know as a coach about your client? How they are showing up in your coaching sessions? What are your assumptions or, let's say, judgment about this client? If you, for example, imagine that you are this client, how do you feel now in your body? Like if I put myself into one client, I could feel very good, or I could feel, oh no, I don't want to be. So it's information, it's a data that we can work with, or what are the issues that they are bringing to the sessions, and what is the energy that this client is having. The second I is coach intervention. So we are focusing on the interventions and the strategies that the coach used in the coaching situation that he brought into the supervision. And what are we interested in is how does this coach work with the client? We are exploring the strategy behind. So what led you to this decision? How did you choose this? What make you to go into this direction? And also we are also discovering why he didn't choose something else from the toolbox that is available, or we are discovering what he might make in the future with the client. So what are the possibilities? So what is interesting here is that it is really good for you as a coach to gain awareness. What is your repetition model with your clients in your interventions? And then start doing differently. So some questions for reflection. If you felt as a coach like stuck, what did the client did in that particular moment? What did he say? How did you react? What did you say exactly? You know, what you felt, what was happening inside of you? Which tool or intervention did you use? What did you notice about this intervention? Did it work with this particular client? Sometimes there is a question, you know, well, what did you notice? Well, I noticed that it's not working, but with my 3 last clients, it was working perfectly. We had such an amazing results, for example. So you see, this is the repetition, the pattern of how we approach to the coaching. What was the response of the client? And are there any other approaches that maybe you didn't think about it? And also what we talk about in the second I is also supervisor shares experiences if the coach asks. So what would you do as a coach in that particular situation? Or what is your experience? What are your thoughts about what strategies to use? What intervention would be beneficial to try to test? In third I, we are focusing on the coach and coachee relationship. So what we are exploring is the dynamics that may be at play between the coach and the client that can impact the effect of a coaching in both directions, positive or negative. And sometimes for this, we need to be really able to take a step back and critically examine the relationship that we are building with our clients, and do we reflect upon relationship with our clients, let's say in the meat of the coaching agreement or coaching process. Most of the coaches says, no, I have never done that. And then I say, what is stopping you not to try? Ask your client, how do you see our relationship? It's very good information for you as a coach, not for the relationship, for you as a coach. Some questions for reflection are, what's the relationship between you and the client? What's the client expectation of your work with them? How does this match with your expectations? A lot of dilemmas in coaching supervision are coming from lack of good contracting agreement part. But contracting is not just the writing, you know, the logistic and things like that, but really to understand what is the definition of expectation of your client, and to really check if he is really understanding your expectations. How do we set these boundaries in that terms? And sometimes they are not aligned. There is a conflict. And of course, we are then interested in exploring how these needs and expectations been made in the agreement part, in the conversation part with the client on the beginning. Also, what is the energy like in the relationship? Is there any tension? Is there maybe too friendly relationship? It's again a data for you to observe. And what I really love to ask is, if you were both animals, what kind of animals would you be and why? I'm particularly interested in why. And then, of course, you can, out of that, gain a lot about the dynamics that is happening. The fourth I is focusing directly into the coach. And here we go into that well-being, you know. It allows us to analyze what coach notice about themselves when working with their clients. What is happening to the coach when they see the client, or maybe a client could trigger some reactions in the coach, either in positive or negative way. So here also countertransference can appear, and it is really, really, really good to address it and investigate it and to gain awareness and to see just with the awareness. We as a coach, we do 80% of the job, let's say, with the awareness. If I am aware of, you know, sometimes let's say that you are in a divorce, having a divorce, or you had, and then a client is talking about that. it may trigger something in you, and then it made this trigger influence on the intervention and strategies that you would use. And then you are bringing yourself into the client session, not with the intention of the benefit of a client, but with the benefit of yourself as a coach. So being aware of this, and this can happen to everybody. You can be a no-name coach or the famous coach in the world. We are human beings. We have emotions. We have sensations. We have thoughts. Unconscious process is all the time with us. So if we are aware of it, we can work with it. And so what we are exploring is the reactions that client had, or on the topic that the reactions of the coach on the topic that the client brought, the thoughts, the changes in energy, the changes in bodily sensations that the coach has experienced, and what they have noticed in themselves as a coach while working with clients. Maybe the client is reminding you on somebody or something or the situation, you know, maybe the name of the client, maybe the way how they sit, or how they use the language, or how they use the body, and can trigger something in you. So, and also very good question for a coach is what you don't want to share about you and your client. It's again a great introspection if you want to explore yourself a little bit deeper. The fifth I is about investigating the coach supervisor relationship, because many times in the dynamic can happen that what is happening with the coach and the client, it is reflection of the relationship with the supervisor and the coach, so the supervisee. So in that sense, it is also here we are talking about the parallel processes, and it is also to just make an intervention in that eye to see what is the information or what is the sense making out of that, what we are aware of, and what is now different with this awareness. So some questions for reflection that are very useful are to what extent are my own experiences as a supervisee, as a coach, a reflection of my client's experience when working with me. Sometimes, you know, your supervisee will say, oh, you are like da, da, da, da, da. So something is triggering in him. And we are exploring how is this, what is happening in our dynamic, in our relationship, connected with your relationship with the client, if there is any connection. So we are just exploring. We are not making judgment or assumptions, but checking, you know, to put an eye on that, to see what similarities there are or difficulties. The sixth eye is about the supervisor. So it's about the experience of the supervisor. And in that eye, we are exploring what is happening here and now. So we need to master the way how to use self as a tool in a supervision, in the benefit of a client. So we need to be aware what is happening in me as a supervisor and to share it without any judgment, but just to address it. This is present. Is this somehow meaningful for you, making any sense for you? So our own feelings, reactions, with the intention to spark the dialogue that we are having with our coach or with our supervisee, to help him to get broader perspective on his issue that he brought into the supervision session. And some questions for reflections. Yes, what emotion or physical reactions is my supervisor having during my supervision session? So what am I having as a supervisor in the session with my clients? Or what does this tell me? Does this make any sense for me as a coach? What is happening in my supervisor? For example, this Monday I had one supervision, and I said to my supervisee, can I share something with you, because something is happening in me? And I said, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I don't know if this is somehow connected or not, but I'm just offering you to take it if it's useful, making any sense. If not, throw it in the basket. And the coach said, I am boring. And it was about boring and being bored. It was so interesting being bored with my client because nothing is happening. And this is the judgment, nothing is happening. Who is the one who judged that nothing is happening, you know? And the last one is the seventh eye, and it's about the wider context, the experience of the supervisor. And no, it's not the experience of the supervisor. It's about the experience of the wider context. So sorry, this is the mistake. It's about systemic view. So what are all external influences or part that are not in the room, but are having an impact into the room, into the field that we are working with? Is also a reflection on how we work with power, with different dynamics, different ethical cultures, organizational, let's say, expectations. So even though that it's not so visible, but it's there somewhere from behind and having an impact. So the questions for reflections that may be useful for us is, how is the culture or the client's organization reflected in the work that you as a coach are doing with the client? For example, if there is an organizational culture that maybe you as a coach don't agree with, but then on the other hand, you like the coachee, your client. And is this having any impact or not? If you are talking about that you are not agreeing with, if you are not talking about that, maybe it's not important. But if you are bringing it out into the conversation, maybe it's good to explore it. Or also, how is my client's home environment or environment that they live in being reflected in my work with them? So also what is happening, you know, there and there and there. Is this somehow connected? Is this present in the field? If we are not aware of it, we can do mistakes because we do judgment. But if we are aware of it, we will ask, we will check, and we will offer the option, offer option for exploration. You know, it could be in this direction or another direction, but we don't make a statement, and this is important. So the wider system, the systemic view is so important. And in this complexity that now we work, look, COVID, opening uncertainty, opening traumas, personal traumas, opening collective traumas from different cultures that we are coming from. We are dealing with such a complexity and ambiguity in these days, we as a coaches. And this is not something that we should just, you know, close our eyes. Oh, this does not exist. It exists. It's here. And we need to be aware of it. Okay. I'm so sorry, but this was very important. I really wanted to share with you this model. I can send you later this and share with you because I added these questions. I found them very useful. sometimes if we are not aware of what is happening, sometimes we just call a colleague coach and let's go through the questions. Let's see what is happening.
Thank you very much, Jasna. This was really, really rich topic. You feeded us for sure. I really love the maturity part, being with the field part. And I got a statement for myself, like, how can I honor myself and how, like, from like freeing myself actually, like during this session, because every time I'm aware and work on it about my inner life, then I can be free to be just there with my coachee. That's awesome. And the parallel processes and trigger parts, everything was really, really great. Can we do maybe for 5 minutes like question and answer? Is that okay? Can we do that?
For me, it's okay. I have time. I don't know how it's your time. I'm so sorry, but I got into the topic and then I looked into the time and but it's very important, topic.
So great. The model was perfect and you're a great model for us because, supervision, like in your coaching process, how it got you to some other level, like it really helped you, and how you actually invested and be patient for 5 years to be getting the right supervision. It's really inspiring also. Yes, we had especially 2 questions I saw, and everybody's writing, this was so precious, and they want to make sure that we're recording. Yes, we are recording. And I think they want to, like me, I took some notes, but I like to study again. Watch again. So first question was, may I ask what is the exact difference between mentoring and supervision to a coach?
I would say it's about the aspects of that I was talking about, the aspects of supervision. So in mentoring, mentor is focusing on the competency, on the skill. And how do you present in your coaching practice the skill? So this is the mentor. And mentor has the experience and supports you in mastering this skill in terms of competency. And this is by the definition of ICF, let's say. In supervision, we are not mentoring. We are discovering what is in the field, let's say, in the whole system, with the client, with the coach, with the relationship, with the profession, with the community. So let me put it like this. The mentor goes inside the box and going around the competency, better listening, better contracting, how can you master these questions in terms like that and like that and like that, like we get feedback from our mentors. But in supervision, they don't go inside the box, they go outside the box and work on the capacity of the competency. So there is a level of capacity. And for me, I love your fellow colleague, Sami Bugay, because he also liked to study and to learn new approaches. And when he came to Slovenia to give us his training on integral coaching, one colleague of mine that is in coaching for 20 years, she asked me, why do you always want to have new trainings and we need to study these competencies? I know them all. And I said, even in 10 years, there are still levels of, let's say, active listening that we don't master yet. But we can. So, and I love this saying, beginner's mind. We have such a skill, such a toolbox. But how can we stay so curious about, is there something else? Is there more?
Wow.
So I hope that this gives, let's say, exact definition of one approach and another approach.
Yes, yes, exactly. It was totally clear. Thank you. Sibel, do you have any questions? Would you like to ask?
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much for all presentation. Really, it was very impressive, and I'm very happy that you are with us tonight, and we learned so much things from you, I think. And I would like to ask you. I wonder, when you met with supervision, when did it start in your life and how?
Okay. So we need, I am accredited within ICF and within MCC. In MCC, I have all of credentials in all the levels. And we need to have quarterly 4 times supervision per year. This is the minimum, but the best advice that I can give you is, let's say, after 25 sessions, give yourself 1 session of supervision. So we don't need so much supervision, but we need sometimes. And then there are moments that we have, for example, last year, I had 3 clients with similar issue. Father did the suicide, alcoholic family, and executive leader as a woman. So how to work on that topic. Okay, with 1 client, but the next new client, the same issue, like repetition. And the 3rd client, again. And I called immediately my supervisor. I was working with Benita Trainor at that time. And I said, I need to check. Maybe there is something that I am not aware of. I want to be certain that I am doing the right thing. Because all 3, they didn't went onto therapy for the loss. No, so it's, of course, it's so connected. So how to really give the most, let's say, responsible support that you can take the whole responsibility for it. And this is then the question. So it's not that you need supervision on every 2 or 3 sessions. No, because you need to have some practice and to do reflective practice in meantime, to reflect on your own way, how you coach, how you do, and then to talk about. But also what is more affordable, for example, is group supervision. And in group supervision, we meet regularly once per month. And in group supervision, sometimes you present the case and sometimes your colleague presents the case. And from the other colleagues, you learn so much. You gain so much ideas how you could enrich your practice as well. We have in Adriatic region, we have Sun Supervision. We are 8 supervisors accredited that are offering supervision, for example, and there is Sun Supervision that you can check, for example, for some advices. There is also Association for Supervisors that you can also check for supervisors. And it's the same like with coaching, you know, you need to feel the supervisor. So I worked with many supervisors because sometimes I pick a person because I want to learn from the person. So it's all.
Evet, galiba Jasna bütün aslında sunumu boyunca buradaydı. Çok güzel. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Eminim şimdi kendisi de geri gelecektir vedalaşmak için. Sevgili Alev Balcı'ya çok teşekkür ederiz. Zamanımızı aştığımız için de hem katılımcılardan hem de Alev'den özür dilerim. Çok teşekkür ederiz katıldığınız için. Bu saati koçluğunuza adadığınız için, koçluk mesleğinize adadığınız için, kendinizi geliştirmek için, kendinizi aslında bir adım daha ileriye taşımak için ve bir başka koça belki gelecekte süpervizör olarak da destek vereceğiniz için şimdiden teşekkür ederiz ve bütün bunları ICA çatısı altında gerçekleştirdiğiniz için de teşekkür ederiz. Ben sevgili Sibel'e de çok teşekkür ederim. Burada olduğu için, varlığı için. Sevgili Beyza da arka planda destek veriyordu. Çok teşekkür ederim. Jasna gelmedi. Teşekkürünü burada yapamadık. Ama ona mutlaka ben haberleşirim. Çok teşekkür ederiz herkese. İyi akşamlar diliyorum. Harika bir hafta diliyorum. Gelecek webinarlarda buluşmak dileğiyle. İyi akşamlar.
Çok teşekkürler herkese katılımı için. 2 tane soru kaldı ama aslında katılım dönmediği için o soruları alıyoruz. Belki sonra yanıtlarını iletiriz.
Kesinlikle.
Çok teşekkür ederiz herkese.
İyi akşamlar diliyoruz.
İyi akşamlar.